Yes, people, what's going on? Hope you guys are all doing well. So, the Carabao Cup final is up next, and Eric Ten Hag has had his press conference ahead of that, fresh from beating Barcelona at Old Trafford and cementing our place in the last 16 of the Europa League, where we will take on Real Betis. Yes, the draw was made for that. It's another Spanish team, and after beating the team top of La Liga by 8 points, I think it is. Yes, Barcelona 8 points clear at the top of La Liga. We beat them over two legs in the Europa League, the second tier European competition. And Real Madrid, who are trailing Barcelona, absolutely slapped up mid-table Liverpool in the Champions League. Been a weird week, but nevertheless, Manchester United heading into the final in confident mood, but with a little bumps and bruises along the way. Marcus Rashford, could he be injured for that final? Now, I'm a little bit sceptical about this. I do think Eric Ten Hag is probably playing his cards very close to his chest. But Marcus Rashford took a knock against Barcelona and is a possible doubt for this game in the cup final, which isn't what Manchester United fans want to hear. Anyway, so we'll be looking at some quotes from Eric Ten Hag. I'll be giving you my predicted 11 for this game and much more in this video. Get your thoughts in the comments below as well. Let us know your predicted 11s and how you feel this final is going to go. It's a big game for Manchester United. We've had a big week, beating Leicester in the Premier League, beating Barcelona in the Carabao Cup, and now obviously going into that game, beating Barcelona in the Europa League, and now going into that game in the Carabao Cup final in good spirits. Ten Hag in his press conference has come out and said Barcelona are one of the best teams in Europe. If you can beat them, it's great. Sunday is a challenger game. It's totally different, but it's great to play against them. On Newcastle United, weirdly enough, he called them annoying. And I've seen some of the videos from Newcastle fans this week, and I got to agree, they have been pretty annoying. But he said they're annoying. They try to annoy you. If you see from the FA, referees want to play effective time. They are the lowest in the league. They are quite successful with it. It's up to us to get speed in the game, but we are dependent on the refereeing as well. I'm not in the instructions of the opponent, so I don't know. I can't influence that. We have to focus on playing football when the ball is in the game and fully concentrate on that. Don't get distracted from whatever is on the pitch. We have to find our way. And another quote that I love from him as well, he was asked about, getting far in all four competitions and all those kind of things. And he said it's all about glory and honour in football. And if you know, there's a banner from a quote from Sir Matt Busby, and it said it's about glory. It's glory and honour. The great man, he said, there's nothing on earth like being a Red. And I feel like Eric Ten Hag has done his little homework and he's just dropped that little gem in for the fans to show you he's aware. He's done it all along. Around the Munich anniversary, he was dropping a few nuggets that showed that he was quite clued up on Manchester United's history. He's done it when we broke the record, when Marcus Rashford broke the record as well. He's made a few statements which make you think the man's taken to the club. He's learnt about the club. He's learning his history, but he also knows the demand here. It's about trophies. It's not just about doing well. On Marcus Rashford, he said, I don't know if he's going to be fit. He said the players are coming in now. We need to do the investigations. We did yesterday, but it's too soon after a game, so we have to wait for the medical now. Now, Marcus Rashford did continue after the knock, but obviously he went off as a late substitute, and I was worried at that time. Although I was quite confident United would get through, I remember thinking at the time, imagine they equalise and we've got no Marcus Rashford on the pitch. It wouldn't be a great position to be in. But that were some of the quotes, or those were some of the quotes from the manager in his press conference. And now we look ahead to that game against Newcastle. And I'm confident, obviously. I'm quite confident for the game. I think Manchester United will do fairly well. But at the same time, I'm still a bit wary, a bit sceptical. After the Newcastle defeat against Liverpool, they get Nick Pope sent off. Everyone kind of starts talking about, Larius playing against Manchester United, and I think he could potentially have a worldie. You know what I mean? And that kind of thing's making me a little bit scared. Ten Hag points out the fact that they waste a lot of time, which is, statistically, he'd be quite clued up on. I haven't seen the stats myself, but I'm sure he's quite clued up on that. And you don't want them to be breaking up the game and the niggly fouls and pretending to be injured and all those little things, and the referee playing into it. So you'd be worried about that as well. But the form that we're in, the momentum that we'll have, although there's a little turnover, we've got 2 days in between the two games. Obviously there's going to be a big Newcastle crowd there at Wembley, but there's going to be a big Manchester United crowd that are going to be confident, that are going to be loud. The atmosphere at Old Trafford was bouncing on Thursday. This game is going to be a huge one, and you do feel like United coming into it are the favourites, but anything can happen, and I'm just a bit wary not to rule Newcastle out of this one. They've got a good team, they've got some good players as well. Let's look at who's going to be available for them or not available. They've got a pretty clean bill of health. They've only got Joe Willock, who's questionable. Bruno Guimaraes is available for them again. Obviously, you've got Nick Pope, who's suspended, Dubravka, who's cup-tied, and that's the big miss for Newcastle, having those players, that player out in Nick Pope, because Nick Pope has been massive for them. They haven't conceded many goals this season, and I know you can give credit to the defence in front of them, the likes of Trippier, the likes of Shaw, the likes of Botman. They've all been really, really good. Newcastle have played well. They defend from the front, they work hard. They've got grafters like Almiron, Joe Linton. Almiron's shown quality this season, scored a lot of goals, signed a new contract I think this week as well. So he's going to be coming into it looking, all these players are going to want to prove something. Callum Wilson, Alexander Isak, good players. So whilst they're not going to be the most confident, whilst they've suffered a few knocks, whilst they seemingly look to be battling top four, this is a different story. The old cliche, the form goes out of the window, and it definitely is in this one. Now, my 11 for this game, I'd go with David De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez and Shaw. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing Dalot start, and maybe my preferred option is Dalot, but I think we'll see Wan-Bissaka start in this game. Then I've gone with Casemiro, Fernandes, Sabitzer. Now, you do worry about the fitness of Varane, but I think the reason he missed the Leicester game was, I think Erik ten Hag would have said to him, are you able to do 2 in 3 days? If the answer is yes, you rest him for Leicester, you get him through them 2 games. He doesn't play against West Ham on midweek. Varane's vitally important to this team, his experience at these big occasions as well. Casemiro the same. When he went down with the knock, I was worried. Luke Shaw's in great form at the minute. Lisandro Martinez was, I know Fred had a great second half, but it was fantastic in the first half, Martinez as well, and the same in the second. I'd go with Sabitzer. I think Fred's put a lot in against Barcelona in both legs. Now, you do wonder whether he'd have the fitness to go again. Probably, knowing Fred, but I think Sabitzer was left on the bench for a reason in that game, and I think he might start this one. Bruno Fernandes has got energy for days, and I think he'll start in this one. And in the front three, you could see Wout Weghorst start in a deeper role, maybe with Rashford pushed ahead of him. If Rashford's fit enough to start, I think he will be. As long as it's not a muscle injury, if it's just a little knock and it's the case of playing through the pain, I think he'd do that. As long as it's not a muscle injury that could potentially get worse, I think Rashford will start. Then you're going to go, Anthony on the right. I think he was very good in the second half coming in. He's vitally important to the shape of the team as well. And then on the left, if you play Rashford through the middle, your left wing options are Garnacho, Sancho. I'd go with Sancho. Garnacho, whenever he started, he seemed like a better option from the bench for me, and bring him in off the bench again, as a substitute or to make an impact if we need a goal. I think that'll be fine. Weghorst could be used in the same kind of manner as well. The manager said Anthony Martial wouldn't be available for this one. I don't think we expected him to be, although he's returned to individual training this week at Carrington. So, having Weghorst on the bench could prove handy as well, especially if Rashford does have that knock. But that's the team that I'd go for in the final. I am confident. I am confident. I'm hoping momentum can take us through. There'll be some tired legs out there, but this is a final at Wembley. We haven't had a final in a while. The first final in Ten Hag's reign as Manchester United manager. And if we can win the trophy here, yes, it's only the Carabao Cup and all this, but we haven't won a trophy in a while. The demands need to be winning a trophy. Ten Hag kind of, Arteta had that thing where even when he was finishing 8th back-to-back, he had won a trophy in his first, in his first, I don't can't remember if he was caretaker or not at that point, but he won his first, he won a trophy early. He got that under his belt, and when you do that, you kind of no one can say anything about, oh, you haven't won a trophy or this, that, or the other. That kind of built up around Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I know things are very different under Erik ten Hag, and even if we lost in the final, I think we'd be fine going forward. I think he's that kind of coach. He's very game to game, kind of matter of fact about everything, and ultimately I think he's building the foundations for sustainable success. So I don't think it'd have a massive impact on United if we lost, but to get that trophy under your belt early doors would be huge. And for this team, a lot of these players haven't won a trophy at United. I know the likes of Martial and Marcus Rashford, Martial as well. But Marcus Rashford's won a couple of trophies here. But when we won them, Zlatan was leading the line. Marcus Rashford was a young kid coming through. And whilst he was a key player, he wasn't leading United. It'd be a little bit different this time around. Casemiro, Varane have won loads, but they haven't won anything at United yet. They'll want to get a trophy under their belt. So there's some players that haven't won things here yet. So we've got it all to prove, and I think we'll do it. I'm hoping we'll do it. It's going to be nervous on the day at Wembley, but it's going to be a great day. My prediction is 2-0 Man United, just like it was on the 22nd of May, 99, my 10th birthday. It was the second leg of the treble. We just won the league playing Spurs, and then we went and beat Newcastle 2-0. Goals from Sheringham and Scholes. And yeah, I'm going to go for the same scoreline again, but fingers crossed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Been all over the place in this video. Still recovering from yesterday's game. What a night it was at Old Trafford. Yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll be back very, very soon. We'll have much more. And of course, on Sunday, we'll have reaction from Wembley. So I'll see you in a bit.